Welcome to the last class in our series. And let's start with what we're going to need for our class today. So we'll need a couple blocks. If you don't have blocks, a small stack of books, approximately the same size. Stacking one book on top of the other will work as well. A bolster or a nice sturdy pillow or couch cushion, a blanket or two, and finally a candle and a lighter. And our final class is our fifth yama, which is Aparigraha, non-attachment. And it's all about the art of letting go. And this yama is very exciting to me. It's my favorite. And really, non-attachment can also be interpreted as non-possessiveness, non-grasping, non-greed, non-clinging. So simply put, being able to let go. And when I dive into Aparigraha and think about the way it's defining non-attachment, it really often makes me think of when my son was little and there's a candy jar on the counter and his hand goes in, holds tight onto the candy he wants, but now his hand is stuck in the jar, so we coax him to release the treat, and of course his hand now easily slides out, and now we can pour the candy onto the counter and he gets what he wanted plus a little bit extra. And so when we release those things, those thoughts that we're grasping onto, holding onto so tightly, and let them go, we find more freedom in what we're looking for. And Aparigraha asks us to remember that the joy and what's important to us in our life is not depending on grasping and holding on to it. And to remember those thoughts and beliefs that we hold on to really do hold on to us, and those things that we possess in the end possess us. And tonight our class is a yin style class, and yin itself is a deep practice of letting go in the poses. And when we talk about yin, it's the yin in yang or yang, the opposite. So yang is building the fire, the energy, and yin is the passiveness and relaxation and letting go. And so our yin practice tonight is a perfect way to apply our Aparigraha on the mat. And we're going to start seated, finding a comfortable seat. And if it feels good to raise the hips a little bit when you're sitting on the ground, you can take one of your blankets to sit underneath the bum. And I also like to have a blanket, like when I'm practicing yin, I like to have the blanket spread out on my mat just for a little added cushioning. And we'll come to sit crisscross, sit up tall, and find some seated sun salutations. Inhale, reach. Exhale, dive forward, arms lengthen out in front of you. Bowing forward. Inhale. Round back up, arms reach overhead. And exhale, we'll dive forward again. Inhale, sliding the body in. Inhale, reach overhead. One more, just like this. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, rolling back up. Sitting tall. And then we'll switch across the legs. Inhale, reach. Exhale, dive. Inhale, rise. Exhale, let the right hand drop behind your left hand to right knee, finding a twist. Inhale, reach. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, rounding back up, hands overhead. Exhale, left hand floats behind. Right hand to right knee, looking over your left shoulder. Inhale, back up to center. Exhale, forward. Inhale up. Exhaling, twisting to the right, right hand behind, looking over right shoulder. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, rise. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale up to center. And exhale, dive. Inhale, walk the hands back in. Slowly rising up, bringing the hands to heart center. Pause here. Maybe close the eyes or keep the gaze soft. Release the arms down. Extend the legs straight out in front. If you're sitting on the blanket, move the blanket. And we'll recline all the way down. Let the arms come out in a T shape. We're going to ball up the fists, roll out the wrists, making circles, and going the other direction. And then point and flex the ankles. And from here, back the hands down beside the hips. And we're going to clench and release. So we're going to make the hands into fists. Scrunch up the face, scrunch up the glutes, curl the toes in, and then relax. Let it all go. And feeling the difference between the two states. So clenching everything in, and then relax. Releasing that tension. Maybe falling a little bit deeper each time. Clench, clench, clench. And release. Let the shoulders drop. Let everything fall out to the side. And then walk the feet in. Windshield wiper the legs. And roll over to your right. And pushing your way up to a seat. And we're going to find our blocks. Sitting up tall. Do just a little bit of strengthening in our hips and hip flexors. So with our legs straight out in front, blocks to the outside of the ankles. And when we start, you can adjust the block height. So low will be the block down flat, medium vertically on its side, and then high straight up and down. I'm going to start on the medium, and the hands can go right next to the hips or come to heart center. Lift the right leg up and over the block, trying to keep the sit bones where they are, not leaning back too much. So lifting, and then do the left leg up and over. Remembering to breathe. So it's good to stretch our hip flexors, but sometimes our hip flexors are really weak as well, which can cause pain. So it's important to strengthen that area as well as stretch it. And then sit up tall. And you can continue that. An option to come into a pinwheel pose for the legs, and the one block will come right in front of the ankle. So both legs are at about 90 degrees. Put one block in front of the right foot, so our right foot's in, our left foot's behind us. And same concept, we want to take the left leg up and over the block. And just tap the toe and then back behind. Tap the toe in front and bring it back around. This is really focusing on that psoas muscle, which connects the bottom of our spine to our pelvis. And then we're going to switch legs. So slowly find movement. Take it slow, because it can feel like a lot in this hip area. So right leg goes back, left shin is in front, lining up the block with the top of the left foot. And hand options again are either hands in front, or you can use the left hand to balance. So inhale, sit up tall, and then exhale, bring that foot forward, tap the toe, and send it back. And we'll do two more. We're still trying to keep ourselves centered, but doesn't always work. And we'll come to turn back to the front of the mat, and we want the blocks and the bolster or the pillow Extend both legs out in front. Sit up tall. And again, if you want that extra support underneath the bum, you can use that blanket underneath. Bring the right foot in, sole of the foot touching the inside of the left thigh. And we will build a little Stonehenge here. So again, there's options with the blocks. So low or medium with the bolster on top. We're going to fold forward, so you may want to start higher. Inhale, lengthen. And this may be enough right here, and you can just rest your face on your hands. Or you can, as you exhale, fold forward. Resting on the bolsters, just finding somewhere you can support your head. And in these poses, we want to take a moment in the beginning to scan through the body, finding those places that we're clenching, holding on, and let go. And using our breath can help us release some of that tension. And we want, in order to do that, we want our exhales to be long, extended exhales. So twice as long as our inhales. So we'll begin by emptying out the lungs. Inhale, breathe in deeply. And exhale, slow, long, extended exhale. And you may start to feel your muscles relax a little bit more. And you breathe again. Inhale. And long exhale. And gently rise. Move the bolster and blocks off to the side. With the right hand, swing behind, land on the mat. Inhale as you roll over to the right side of the hip. Start to extend the left arm here. You can either stay here or begin to lift the hips. Or stargazer. And go ahead. Come back down to the earth. Right leg goes up. Left knee bends. I'm going to set up to echo that on the other side of the body. Build your Stonehenge once again. And this side may be completely different than the other side, which is absolutely normal to feel. So make your decision here where you want to start. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. And take a moment here again. Travel through the body, pinpointing those places. Maybe it's the foot, maybe it's the face. You're holding and grasping. And find that deep breath again. Inhale. And let it out. And this breathing is activating our parasympathetic nervous system, which is our rest and digest response in our body. It's the opposite of the fight or flight. Allowing us to relax, telling the muscles that it's okay to release. Take a deep breath and sigh it out. Again, coming back up to a seat. Set the bolster and the blocks to the side. Left hand comes behind, plant the hand. Start to roll over to the left hip. Right arm reaches, staying here. Or option to lift. And coming back down. Send both legs out and give them a little shake. We're going to set up for fish pose, and there's a couple different options here that we can choose to do. And the most basic is we'll set the one block on tall towards the back of the mat, and the second block is going to go just a few inches away, and making a T shape with the block in front of it. And this block, when you lay, we're going to lay back down on them, and I'm going to turn around to show you. This block is going to go in between your shoulder blades, right about here, and the bottom of the block will be approximately where your brush strap would be. So we'll lay that down and go ahead and start to recline back over the block. And if this is super uncomfortable, we can do this a couple different ways. It can be a little intense on the in that shoulder blade area if you're carrying a lot of tension in there. So one option is to throw a blanket over top of that bottom block, and that's going to cushion the block, make it less blocky. Or we can take a bolster or pillow and turn that block sideways to support it, and then you can recline back on the bolster as it's a little ramp. So picking your poison here, try one on, try them all on for size, Goldilocks it, and see what feels best for your body today. And then with the legs, they can stay bent, or they can start to walk out. But if it feels pinchy or crunchy in the low back, walk the knees back in. Don't want to have any pain in this position, especially with yin. Arms can go down by the sides, fingertips curl. With the yin, we're really not trying to really push the stretch. I'm not trying to get the biggest stretch possible. Really want to start at the point where you just start to feel it. And then you can relax into the pose, breathe. And as you do that, you begin to find a little bit more space over time. You get that little bit extra just by letting go. Guide your focus back to your breath. The legs are out long. Walk them in. Lean into either elbow. You should start to roll off, dismounting to either side. And slowly come back up to a seat. Come up, over. Walk the knees back towards the back of the mat. Toes touch, knees wide. Hips to heels. Head to the mat. Child's pose. And if this feels a lot, maybe more effort than you want to put in, The bolster can come up in between the legs as you lie down. Turn the head to either side. Or if your head is on the mat, different arm option is to bend the elbows, landing the hands in a prayer shape on the back of the neck. And if your head's on the bolster, go ahead and switch the direction of the neck. And to lift the head, walk the hands in. Slowly guiding yourself up. Knees can come closer. Find some spinal waves here. Lift the hips, hands will come out towards the front of the mat. Just ripple forward. Exhale, push back. Inhale, ripple forward, rinse it out. Exhale, push back. And find one more, rippling forward. When you come forward, pause here. Then slowly lower to the mat. With the hands, forearms cross in front. Bring the head down. Taking a couple breaths here. Roll over to your left hip. And if you want extra cushioning or need extra cushioning for that hip, blanket underneath. Left arm can go out for the pillow. And we're going to bend into the knees. Knife edge of the feet touching. And the right fingertips can either come in front of the rib cage or up to the hip. And then the hips are stacked, right hip over top of the left. And keeping the toes and the heels touching, we're going to open up the legs. Engage your core. Can you notice what else is engaged in this position? And then lower. Can you relax everything here? Inhale, open. Exhale, close. And try to just let go, dissolve everything when not in motion. Inhale, open. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Letting go. Inhale. And exhale. Roll back over onto our stomachs. Resting the hands, resting the head on the forearms. Crocodile pose. Roll over to the right hip. Bend the knees. And then right fingertips can come in front of the rib cage or to the left hip. Toes and heels are touching. Left hip stacked over the right. Inhale, open the legs. Exhale, knees come to meet. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Again, can you notice what parts of the body, what muscles are engaging? And then exhale, release. And can you notice if you're letting go? Inhale, open. And release. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. And then roll back over to our stomachs. We're going to find Sphinx pose. So coming up to our elbows. And cross the forearms so you are touching, hands are touching opposite elbows. This ensures our elbows are right underneath our shoulders. And swivel the arms out so fingertips are pointing to the front of the mat. Toes are pointing behind us. Nice V shape. Go ahead and relax the glutes. Relax the feet. Let them flop out. Lengthen through the spine as you look forward. Your gaze comes to the front of the mat. And the heart drops in between the shoulders, hammocking between left and right shoulder. And now your gaze can start to come lower on the mat as you find more length in the back of the neck. If you want to find a deeper stretch in the low back, hands can come out to the far corners, front corners of the mat, straighten through the arms. Okay, keep the gaze towards the front of the mat. And then we can all release back down all the way. Arms can go long down by the sides. Head can turn in either direction. And we'll flip over onto our backs, taking our blocks with us. Lock the feet in, toes touch, allow the knees to fall out. And then with the blocks, support the thighs and the shins, and wherever it feels comfortable to have that added support. And arms can go long out by the sides, find a T shape, or even goalpost arms, cactus arms. And we'll take that deep breath here. Inhale and exhale. Let your hands come to the outside of the thighs as you start to help the knees back in. Hug your knees in. Maybe rocking back and forth. And then slowly find your way up to a seat. We're going to set up for deer pose. Make that ramp out of our block and our bolster. And there are options. I do like to do it on the medium setting with the block, but you're welcome to go higher or lower. We're going to set up this ramp. And if your pillow or bolster is a little saggy in the middle, you can always use the other block to kind of slide it on there under for a little bit more support. And we'll bring our left hip up to the bolster and find a pinwheel with the legs. And the legs can, if that seems like too much flexion in the legs, you can bring that right knee up on top of the left ankle. And left hand on the outside, right hand on the outside, framing the bolster. Inhale, lengthen through your spine. And exhale, fold over. Let the arms, elbows come to the ground. Palms can face up. Deep breath in. Let it go. Walk the hands in underneath the shoulders. Push up. Slowly fan the legs over to the other side. Right hip comes up to the bolster. The arms frame the bolster. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Walk the hands in. Push up and away. Extend the legs out in front. find some seated cat-cows here. Hands can go behind. Inhale. Lift the heart. Chin falls back. Exhale, round the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, point the toes. Lift the heart. Exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale. We'll come up to a seat. And we're going to find a comfortable seat, whether that be sitting on a bolster, sitting on your blanket, or even finding a seat up against a wall, or in a chair. And we might find the candle. We'll light our candles. And then I want you to find a place for it far enough out in front of you that you can see it without having to tilt your chin down too far. And let your gaze soften on the flame. Recognize it as your focal point. And proceed with that concentration. So I'm going to share a poem with you titled She Let Go by Sapphire Rose. And when I'm finished reading, I'm going to allow space for silence and the opportunity to let go a little bit more. And see if you can allow sounds and thoughts to drift off. Give them permission to go off in all directions, north, south, east, west, into the ground, float up into the clouds, completely outside of your peripheral. And the flickering flame is your single point of focus. She let go without a thought or a word. She let go. She let go of the fear. She let go of the judgments. She let go of the confluence of opinions swarming around her head. She let go of the committee of indecision within her. She let go of all the right reasons, wholly and completely, without hesitation or worry. She just let go. She didn't ask anyone for their advice. She didn't read a book on how to let go. She didn't research the scriptures. She just let go. She let go of all the memories that held her back. She let go of all the anxiety that kept her from moving forward. She let go of the planning and all the calculations about how to do it just right. She didn't promise to let go. She didn't journal about it. She didn't write the projected date in her day timer. She made no public announcement and put no ad in the paper. She didn't check the weather report or read her daily horoscope. She just let go. She didn't analyze whether she should let go. She didn't call her friends to discuss the matter. She didn't do a 5-step treatment. She didn't call the prayer line. She didn't utter one word. She just let go. There was no one around when it happened. There was no applause or congratulations. No one thanked her or praised her. No one noticed a thing. Like a leaf falling from a tree, she just let go. There was no effort. There was no struggle. It wasn't good, and it wasn't bad. It was what it was, and it is just that. And in the space of letting go, she let it all be. A small smile came over her face. A light breeze blew through her, and the sun and the moon shone forevermore. Start to expand your gaze past the candle. Blink the eyes and keep your gaze soft. We're going to set up for Shavasana. So whatever that means for you, you can use a bolster to support your legs. Use the blanket as a pillow or to cover up with. Put your socks back on. And recline all the way back. And see if you can really surrender for the final part of class. Relax the face, the forehead, the shoulders drop. The fingers curl naturally. and the feet flop out. Pull your attention back into the body, breathing normally. Find some movements in the fingers and toes. Wrists and ankles. Inhale the arms up and over. And releasing the thumbs for a full body stretch. And then Snow Angel, the arms back down. And pull the knees in. Finding any movement here that feels good. And we'll slowly make our way back up to a seat. Being gentle. Sitting tall. Guide the hands to heart center. The place in me of love, light, truth, and peace sees and honors this place in you. And together we can bow and say, Namaste. Thank you for sharing your time with me.